And welcome in everyone to another episode of Inside ARCS. I am joined today by Mr. Tommy Reynolds and Alex Simkowski. Tommy, how you doing? Second time on the podcast. How'd you feel coming off the last one?
It's great to be back, per usual. It was a fun time last time I was on here, so hoping to have that same experience.
And Alex, first time gracing the podcast this year. How we doing?
So many people are going to question why I'm on here, but I'm here.
He's here and he's ready to go. We have a stacked podcast to go through. We've got ARCS Ignition, which ran tonight, and we'll review that, and then we will preview SNS at Bristol, as well as the A squared competition heading out to the banks of Las Vegas, and then we will drop into our green, yellow, red section. Starting out here, we had a very interesting time out at Las Vegas in our ARCS Ignition series. We're going to pull up our results now as you see them on your screen for the podcast viewers. A great race overall, had cautions, a lot of cautions early on, kind of caught the bug, and then we ran the last 40, 45 laps under green flag conditions. We'll go through the lineup here first. Noah Belleville comes in first race of the season and grabs the win over Tommy Reynolds, a Bandit Racing 1-2 in the Ignition Series. Alfie Sharon Jr. grabs the last podium spot with third. Zach McBride, Aaron Conover finish out your top five. Newcomer Dale Markowski grabs the top 10 in seventh. Nicholas Fisher, being led on Presidential Racing, grabbed a top 10 as well, finishing ninth. And the story and the conversation surrounding one driver through the back part of the race was Aiden Norman, who comes in 10th, and we will get to that with our two guests here today. Tommy, we'll start with you. You finished second, and kind of walk us through the progression of your thoughts throughout the race.
It was a rough start, to say the least. I had started around mid-pack with not the greatest qualifying attempt in the world. And through my idea through the first segment there was kind of just ride it out, save some tires, and see if we can get to it green, but that was far from it. So we kind of I altered my plan there. So after every caution, I was just digging and just trying to get as hard as I could through the field. And as soon as we hit that stage break, it almost seemed to flip a switch for everybody, and we almost went green from there to the end. So we got to the last 20 laps or so, pit stop started, and I had pitted a lap just after Noah Belleville, and I thought the tires would work to my advantage. They did towards the end, and man, you always wish you had one or two extra laps towards the end just to get that guy in front of you. So it was a close finish, though, 3/10 just separating us.
Now, you guys are teammates in that Bandit Racing category. Was it a plan to have one lap before and the next one pit after, or was that kind of just on your own when your pit strategies came to play?
We hadn't really discussed pit strategy because we had thought there was going to be another caution, so we were kind of just winging it, going by how much fuel we each other had. So I had just gone in when I thought I should have pitted. I wanted to stay out later than everybody else, but I saw that everybody was coming in behind me. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll just have to follow it down. And then I had a slower entry than I think Belleville did, but yeah, that was about it.
I got you. So Belleville comes away with the victory. Reynolds in second, Sharon Jr. in third. A great race through the back half, but we had some controversy on the last restart before the long green flag run, and it has sparked debate throughout our Ignition chats and with multiple drivers, and it surrounded the restart on lap 60 with Aiden Norman. He was starting around the 14th position, and I'll let Tommy kind of walk through once we kind of delve into it. But basically, he was questioned and brought forth by race control. From my perspective, I was doing eye in the sky race control, and the way restarts are run in ARCS for the series was just like in real life NASCAR. You hold your lane until the start finish line, unless avoiding a wrecking incident in front, which wasn't the cause here. In that Aiden Norman jumped the restart on the outside of Dale Markowski and passed before the start finish line and was reprimanded for it. And so the question was like, is it what's the ruling? Where do we go from there? And Tommy, I'll bring you in on this before we get to Alex's outside perspective, because he wasn't able to see it, so he'll get fresh view on it. Walk us through that restart. I know you and Belleville were 1-2 at that point, and kind of what was going on in the atmosphere of that time of the race.
My goal at that point was kind of just, I wasn't full time, so my goal was to try and push Belleville out there and time the restart so I could push him out and keep him clear and then kind of defend from behind, be almost a rear gunner. And we had called out the restarts, and we just knew we were trying to get in front of everybody else.
Gotcha. And now you were in chat. Bandit Racing had, who all was in the Bandit Racing chat at that time?
It was me, Belleville, Aiden Norman, and Tristram.
Guys, so you're trying to time out those leaders, y'all being the leaders, to give your team the best opportunity forward. Now, in ARCS, and this comes from the race control directive up above, is we're watching for clean restarts, both off choose cone, making sure that's done correctly, and we had a couple instances where we had EOL, end of line penalty, some of the drivers, but then also on restarts, just making sure it's clean and safe, that way we can get back to green flag action. And what, from my perspective, up in the booth, watching over the race, and everyone can go and watch off of the YouTube channel Raggy Productions. The Ignition broadcast is there from race control perspective, and we kind of walk over that. But from my point of view, I'm watching, and I can hear when the green flag has been thrown. I can also see when the leader launches, so that we know that the right person has led the race or is leading the race out. I can't hear team chats, but I can see what's going on. And as soon as I saw the leader launch, I see Aiden jump out of line, or already out of line, and passing Markowski, and he completes the pass before the start-finish line, which warranted the black flag. Now, it came to where it's not a written down rule in our rule books, but we do follow NASCAR restart formations and guidelines. Alex, when you hear about all this going on, what's your thoughts towards how restarts should be performed versus how they are managed by race control?
I mean, as far as that goes, you got to look at it from a couple of different aspects, right? So, iRacing officials, you can do that. You can get away with that. As long as you're passing on the right, there's no issue, no harm, no foul. Now, within league racing, if you've got anything set up in rules, iRacing won't black flag you, itself, right? So you add that with the fact that they're in a team chat. I don't know. Maybe Aiden just had some stick drift. Could have been possible, right? It's a joke, Aiden, for when you're listening to this. But if you don't want anybody to pass you on the right, hug the wall. If you're looking, I didn't watch the race, so I don't know what happened. I don't know, how many laps to go when this unfolded. But if you don't want somebody to pass you on a restart, especially in iRacing officials, you're going to hug that wall.
Yeah.
Because they can't pass you before that line. So, what are you going to do? And I get it. They were in the same team chat and everything, and I've got no disrespect for anybody in that team except for Tommy. He's kind of, he's okay. But, I mean, when it all comes down to it, we all want to do one thing, right? We want to win. We want to do whatever we got to do to be the best that we're going to do. And Aiden, don't jump out of line anymore, though. Win fair and square.
Yep. And it wasn't so much that, okay, the move is technically illegal in iRacing officials, illegal in the ARCS racing series, in that you cannot pass before the start finish line. Where issues became prevalent was, or in conversation was, should an admin be able to clear their own flag for a discretion? And Alex, you're not in, you weren't in the admin or in the chat. What do you think from an admin perspective when it comes to clearing own black flags, whether warranted or unwarranted?
I mean, 100%, you can't do that. And possible. I mean, do you want to reprimand him for it because of doing it if it was multiple times in the race, which that's what I heard happened. I mean, it's not my pig, not my farm, really. Obviously, I'm not in the Ignition series, but it doesn't look good, in my opinion. For someone to keep doing that and then complain, especially if you have a race control. Race control is above and beyond what anybody else in the field is helping race control do and moderate throughout a race. So for anybody, regardless of the person, to want to sit down and go, you know what, I don't agree with that, or you know what, what's the difference at that point to me racing and Tommy's beating me by 3 seconds and I'm an admin and I give him a black flag because of whatever stupid reason I want to think of. It's race manipulation at that point in my mind.
Yeah, and above all, it did not affect, I believe, the finish of the race. By and large, Tommy and Noah ran away with it through the pit strategy. We went green to the end, and they had the better pit strategy throughout. Aiden obviously finished 10th in that, and so it sparked the conversation, and it was handled well through both admin and through driver. Tommy, I want you to take it and pull it back from what Ignition's purpose is that you're trying to develop and get noticed to join the top rank division of A squared. When you see what went on tonight and how everything was handled, what kind of message would you send to the developing drivers, the new drivers, the drivers that want to get noticed? What kind of message would you send to them about what A squared, what is looked for when you become an A squared full-time driver, for what those owners are looking for?
This is going to be pretty ironic coming from me, but I mean, it's patience. If you had enough patience tonight, you would have made it through the wreckfest of the first segment or so. I mean, it was pretty, I don't want to say atrocious, but it was pretty scary to see how some people were driving out there. And all it took was some patience to get through. I mean, it could have been like lap 5 and guys were hanging on your quarter panel for no reason. You got another 95 laps to go, so patience is the name of the game, even in A squared. So you just gotta relax and just take it one lap at a time.
Yep, patience is a virtue and consistency is key. Is kind of been the key phrases that have come through both owners and drivers from the A squared division, and I think you can kind of start seeing some of those pop their heads out. I think you give notice to Dale Markowski and Nick Fisher in this race here today. Dale grabs a 7th place finish and Nick Fisher a 9th. And you look at total incident points. Nick Fisher had 1 incident point and Dale had 8, which is just 2 contacts with a car. Both come away with top 10s, but both names that are not normally spoken around those top 10 circles. Alex, I know you hadn't been a part of any Ignition races, but you are full-time over in A squared. When you're looking at your teammates and possible future teammates, in coming from the Ignition side, what are you looking for from a team perspective when you're like, hey, I need my teammate to help me here, or move this way or act this way so that the team dynamic has a very good positive effort. What are the things that you're kind of looking for?
I mean, when it comes down to it, I guess it depends on, what type of racing we're doing, so from super speedway to short track to road course or anything. And even within all those spectrums of thought, you're looking at, all right, what do I want to do? When do I want to pit? What tires do I want to take? Do I want to take tires at all? Whatever. For me personally, I would rather look at knowledge. People that are able to put in the practice time and with me, obviously, I pretty much show up to race and that's it with my work schedule. So it's nice to hear from my teammates on any laps that have been turned. I understand kind of what the car does, what tire fall off there is, and et cetera, et cetera. Looking at people wanting to move up through the ranks. I'm not the happiest person, as everyone knows, so I just be blunt with it, and I mean, I know everyone wants to get to A squared and wants to run with us on Sunday nights, and it's a lot of fun. And Carmen does a great job with the broadcast as well. That just adds to it. So I know everybody's looking to kind of feed into it, right? They want to get into the A squared sector, if you will. I'm now rambling, and I have no idea what the fuck I was going with. So,
all good. I think above all, you're looking for that teammate that is going to be a help to you, whether because you had lack of practice time, but not also a detriment to the totality of the team. When you put 4 drivers' points together and one driver is losing points because of actions on track or off track, does that kind of key in when it comes to that team dynamic that has been introduced in A squared?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously it's different than last year. We didn't have this whole team situation last year. Obviously Tommy was on my team last year, but we had about 18 other people with us, so not quite the same thing, right? This year it's a little more competitive in that sense of you've got your full-time and part-time driver, and everyone's kind of working together. So it's a different dynamic for sure. And like I said, with me not being able to be home, it's nice to be in our team chat throughout the week and people saying, hey, try adjusting this and doing this, and this is what I found, and being able to get home and run the car straight and then just go from that. So for me personally, I want someone that's going to want to put in the time, and hopefully within the next year I'll be able to be one of those people as well and not be on the road as much. But until that happens, that's what I would be looking for right now. Tommy would be a horrible help. He barely turns left. I mean, yeah, he's not even trying.
Yeah, Tommy, coming over to you for when you're looking at your teammates and how things run, and looking at what ARCS Ignition is doing, if you put yourself in an owner's mindset, when you watch the Ignition race today and everything from on track and off track, what are you taking away anything, or what are you looking at when you're like, okay, maybe I could recruit that guy or girl for my team?
Yeah, this is ironic coming from me, but you have to look at off-track activities like what happened tonight. I mean, it's interesting to look at when you're picking a driver because, I mean, it could lose you points. It happens all the time. So, I mean, when you look for a driver and with this kind of playoff system, with how the points currently work, you want somebody consistent, somebody who's going to run in the top 10. Maybe not the whole race, but you can just survive to the end of the race and get those couple stage points and those 30-something points at the end of the race.
Yep, consistency continues to be the word that pops up. So, ARCS Ignition finishes off. Belleville takes the win. Reynolds in second. 1-2 for Bandit Racing. A great showing there. We'll get points to you next episode as they are still being tabulated. I don't believe any penalties are coming down the line for anyone, but I know there are some hardline rules being restated, and so look out for more of that coming down the podcast. We'll get you updated on all that when it comes forward. But we're going to move into our previews section as we are getting ready to send the trucks of SNS out to Bristol Motor Speedway, the last great Coliseum on the NASCAR circuit. And trucks have had a very good turnout this year, and I think Bristol is going to be no different. And we've had great races, but you're caught inside the confines of Bristol Motor Speedway, a half-mile high bank, fast speeds. A lot can go wrong in a short amount of time. Alex, when we talk about SNS and the trucks at Bristol, what comes to your mind immediately?
I wish I was home. The only thing, and I'm going to stick to this because it'll probably never happen again, is the first iRacing season for trucks. I actually won. Don't ask me how. Couldn't tell you. But, so, even with that happening, trucks kind of hold a dear place in my heart just because of that. I was new to iRacing and new to ARCS and came out and won the championship the first season they had. So, anytime I do get to run with them on Saturday nights, it's fun. Bristol is a super fun track. You got a little bit of strategy, and I mean, like you said, it's fast. I will attempt to tune in tomorrow night, but no promises. Minnesota is where I'm at right now, and lots of fun in St. Cloud. So, yeah, I'll probably tune in. But no, I mean, everybody in ARCS, and especially, showing up on Saturday nights for trucks. Everyone just, I feel like Saturday night turns into the fun, good time. Everyone wants to just kind of end their week, run trucks, and in the couple of races I've done here and there while I've been home, I haven't had any issues, and everyone's just having fun with it. So Bristol's going to be interesting to see. I don't know where the points are right now with them so far. I'll be honest. So,
yeah,
regardless.
Picking up off that, the points are on your screen now, and as they stand currently, Aiden Norman has a 5-point lead over Joshua Gaiman. Both each have a win to their name, 182 to 177. Lilac Zier is in third. Seth Wansing in fourth, Donald Ray in fifth for your point standings. Early in the season, but still rocking and rolling. I think SNS is actually, they've got 5 or 6 more races coming up after Bristol, so we're reaching midway in the Saturday Night Showdown Season 5. Tommy, you take a look at the points and everything. Any surprises, or is it kind of like, okay, we're kind of seeing who's going to be fighting for this thing at the end?
With the way things are shaking out right now, it's not really surprising. I mean, there's a couple guys up there, Lilac Zier and Tri-Strand, but I mean, it's not really surprising. Aiden Norman's extremely quick, Joshua Gaiman extremely quick, Seth Wansing extremely quick, so I mean, it's really not surprising to see any of these guys up there. All household names at this point of either the Cup Series or even the Ignition Series.
And who would you take as your favorite going into Bristol?
I mean, I'm not sure with how chaotic Bristol is. I mean, it can go any way, but Toby Estes always finds a way around these short tracks, so I'm going to have to pick him.
There you go, Toby Estes' pick from Tommy Reynolds. Alex, do you have a pick, if one off the top of your head, for a Bristol win in the trucks?
I mean, I'll go with peanut butter as well. Why not? Anything's possible at Bristol. Any short track running, anything is possible. With any of those guys. Seth's a good friend as well. And I know he's been grinding hard lately. You can see it in A Squared too. He's showing his dominance and gotten a lot better over the last year. So I wouldn't put him out either.
Yeah.
But short track racing is short track racing.
This is very true, and bumpers will be used. We'll see if we get some long green flag runs. My hope is that long green flag run and green flag pit stops for SNS here. Maybe shooting for the moon on that one, but that would be awesome to see how they are able to control the dual pit road actions of a Bristol Motor Speedway. SNS at Bristol Saturday night. Rick James TV, your broadcaster, Carmen Hardy, your broadcaster on Arrow Broadcast Networks for SNS. And that'll lead us up to our top division, A squared out at Las Vegas. Pulling up here, we're going to start with our teams. We're going to work from big to small here, and our team standings currently hold as B-Tron with 304 points, Prophecy in second, very quiet, along with Line Power, a quiet second and third. Sunday Money, owned by Seth Wansing, holds the fourth spot with Presidential Bandit and Black Acid coming up behind them. Tommy, we'll start here in the teams division. When you look at Las Vegas, what can a team do to maximize their points this week?
I mean, with these mile and a half, it's about consistency. So I think clock and laps will help every team, but knowledge with the small adjustments you can make with the setup and tire strategy and stuff like that. So in the long run, it ends up being what makes the team different from all the others. It helps with your long run pace. It helps getting into your box faster. But like just different brake adjustments and sizes. It helps just with tiny stuff like that. So, I mean, I don't know. It comes down to just clocking laps really at these mile and a halves.
Yeah, Alex, you are part of Line Power, and when you look at your team holding third place, about just under 70 points back of the leader, which can very quickly turn the tables with how the point structure is. You know, what's Line Power's look through the first two races and going into Las Vegas this week?
I'm grabbing my head right now. So, I mean, as far as it goes this weekend, obviously I will not be in attendance since I'm on the road for work, so that'll kind of hurt us a little bit on team points through the first 2 weeks. Lurkin and I had our strategies and cautions, bad cautions, and that kind of put that damper in it. I have full faith in the team, though, that we're gonna come out strong. I don't think anyone thought necessarily that we were going to be something to look at, and sitting third right now in points as a team isn't horrible at all. And again, like I said, I won't be here, or on Sunday I won't be able to race, but I will be with the team, at least in their ear and watching and helping as much as I can. And I mean, I know we're capable of getting a win. I know we're capable of being up top 5 for sure. So we'll see what happens.
Will you be taking drop points for this week just to keep your team accruing? And I know is your part-time driver running this week as well?
I'm not sure if Richie is or is not. I know he ran Daytona. I think everyone pretty much ran Daytona, but I'm not sure if Richie will be running or not. Hopefully, that's probably something to bring up in the team chat. So hopefully he will. And for me, I'm basically I'll be able to run 2 races in a row and then miss 1, and that's going to be it until anything changes with work. So if Richie can at least try to make those part-time runs while I'm gone until those are used up, that would help. But I think we've got a good team. I will say Lurkin made me buy a Toyota, and it's not something I would normally buy. So
yeah. Well, you're starting to see.
Love you, Lurkin.
Yeah, you're starting to see how these owners are going to have to start thinking with, sometimes a driver can't make a race. Take Alex's situation. If he can't make it this week, Well, you get 4 drivers for your team points, so can their part-time driver sneak in, grab some good points, cover up Alex, and then Alex doesn't have to use his drop round points for his team. He can hold on to those for a quick second, but definitely a lot to think about for the owners, and math is going to have to become a big part in working those systems to make sure these teams are headed in the right direction, because we've got a 12 race set here before lineups get unlocked and possibly shifted, and we're going to head over to our just pure driving or driver standings, and you see Joshua Gaiman currently holds the lead at 101 points, and you have your 2 race winners already locked into the playoffs, and we'll continue to update that as we get deeper into this season. But Gaiman in first, Wansing, Purnell, Wright, Painter, your top 5 in points. You look at last week and what Austin Purnell did and what he's doing in ARCS Extreme and dominating that. Tommy, you look at what Purnell has done over the last couple of weeks to grab third currently in the standings. What's your thoughts behind his rookie performance so far?
It's one hell of a rookie performance, I'll say that much. What he did at Auto Club was amazing. He was up there almost the entire race. I mean, it's something everybody wants to do. He was bounced around from like first to fifth almost the entire race. So I don't remember where he finished at Daytona off the top of my head, but yeah, I mean, even Daytona doesn't matter in the long run. It's nice to get the win and be in the top 5, but it's nothing compared to being able to run the top 5 the rest of the season like he's been able to do. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, he has put a good foot forward as a rookie here in A Squared, and he's obviously dominating down at ARCS Extreme on the short track package. So look out for him, especially we go to Phoenix next week. Could be a show for Austin Purnell. But the mile and a half at Vegas comes up next. We're going to give you a look at the rookie standings real quick. And there you see Purnell holds a 1-point advantage over David Wright in Prophecy Motorsports. So Purnell holds an early lead there, and our total draft setup, or total all the teams currently ranked out. Alex, we hadn't really gotten a chance to talk to you on the podcast of an overall outlook on the A Squared season. When you look at the teams from the A Squared perspective, obviously Beatron's out to a great start. Is that what was expected, you think? Or are some teams lurking in the background and just hadn't gotten their footing yet?
Well, I mean, Jack Mulkey is a hack. I just wanted to say that first and foremost. No, I mean, you knew Jeremy going pick 1 was going to go with Gaiman. And you team those 2 guys up. I mean, just look at it. Doesn't matter whether it was A Squared. It doesn't anything in ARC that we run. Those 2 guys are typically going to be at the top, or at least very, very much in contention. With anything. So I think that every team thought, hey, yeah, Beatron's going to be something to look at. We're way too early on. Talk to me 15 races in, and we'll see where we're at then, because anything can happen, right? So I think people are starting to get into their grooves. Everyone's got new teammates, and no one knows what to expect or what's going to come. And we split it up from what everyone's been used to since moving to the iRacing platform within ARC, and the fact that, like I said, I mean, look at last year, Team Sideswipe, everyone loved us so much, right, Tommy? So, but we had literally like 18 people in Sideswipe. That dynamic has changed this year. You don't have that anymore, which I'm totally for. I like that it's a little more realistic, and now teams have their strategies. They've got their people. You might have friends out there. If I saw Tommy in a super speedway, I would probably be like, all right, if it's not 10 to go, he's probably going to work with me if we're stranded, right? So, I mean, it brings more realism into what we're doing. And thus doing that brings on a better show for anybody watching our stream. And that counts too. So, again, let's talk in 15 races, 20 races. Let's see what happens. I might not be home that much. All I got to do is get a win, and then I'll see you at the end of the year, Tommy.
Now you talk about, we'll see in 15 races or 20 races, the 12 race free agency cut where owners can make roster and lineup changes. Alex, we hadn't got your perspective on this. Does that creep into your brain early in the season, or is it kind of I'll wait till week 9 or 10 to have to worry about that, or I just don't worry about it and I just go out and do my thing on the racetrack?
Oh, I'm getting dumped easily. Don't worry about it. No, hopefully Lurkin doesn't. I don't even think about it. Doesn't faze me whatsoever. Like I said earlier on, I mean, the first 2 races did not go the way we wanted. Lurkin and I were on the same strategies. Obviously, Lurkin is the team owner for me, and I thought Daytona we had a shot, but we used up our green white checkers there. That we ran out of fuel, both him and I at the same time.
Oh man.
And Fontana, we went green the first 2 stages essentially without issue. So we played that strategy, and then we just got breeded with cautions for 15, 20 laps.
Yeah.
So it just kind of screwed up our whole mentality, and we'll see what happens. Unfortunately, I think somewhere that I can at least potentially get a top 5 would be road course, and of course, the first road course we hit is when I'll be on the road for work, so I don't have the ability to race that one. But regardless, I mean, I'm not worried. I know Lurkin believes in me. Maybe. Lurkin, are you listening? But at the same time, I mean, if he wants to make a move, by that cutoff and wants to do something, I respect his decision on it. I get where comes first. This is all fun and games, right?
Yep.
At the end of the day, and no, I don't want to, be out of A squared or try to help Lion Power get something, but got to respect his decision if it does happen. So either way, if it is going to happen, I'll probably turn Tommy Reynolds the last chance I get in A squared.
Well, hopefully we don't have to get to that point and we see everyone, both Tommy and Alex, still holding their A squared full-time roster spots. But it's definitely something that is on the horizon. Granted, we can't see that horizon yet. Early in the race number 3 coming up for A squared. They head to Las Vegas this weekend, and we're going to find out where the consistency lies as we begin to get into this main stretch of the season as the West Coast swing takes to Las Vegas and then Phoenix next week. Guys, we're going to jump into our next segment here. This is green, yellow, red. Basically, what this section is I'm going to throw out a prompt or question, and you're going to either agree with it wholeheartedly and give me a green flag, kind of agree and just be like, we'll see what it's all about with a yellow flag, or completely disagree and turn tail and head the other direction with a red flag. We're going to start in the real world. Big breaking news out of the Cup Series in NASCAR. Chase Elliott has to undergo surgery on his leg after a snowboarding accident in Colorado just a couple days ahead of the Las Vegas race. Tommy, green, yellow, red, drivers out having activities that could be detriment to their full-time schedule.
I don't know. You could really go either way with this. I'm going to say yellow because, I mean, it's tragic, but you have to look back at incidents like what happened with Michael Schumacher all those years ago. almost the same kind of incident. I forgot what exactly happened, but I believe he hit his head on some kind of rock while skiing, and yeah, I mean it's tragic that things like this happen, but it's part of life. I mean, these accidents happen, so I mean you can't really limit them because there's risk with everything you do. So I mean, I don't know. You can't. I feel like you can't limit them on everything, but I think there could be some cutoff.
Yeah, and Alex, I'll kind of switch it over to you. Josh Berry's gonna replace Chase at least for the Vegas race. Green, yellow, red. Josh Berry finishes top 15 at Vegas in his first Cup start with Hendrick Motorsports.
Red.
No faith in Josh Berry out of it. He won the Xfinity. he won the Xfinity race for Vegas last year. You don't think he can replicate at least a top 15?
No. Okay, maybe. I think it's possible in racing, right? But I was hoping I got that first question because I actually have more relation to it because you act like I know who Josh Berry really is.
Okay, well, I mean,
But
you take obviously with.
I mean, regardless,
Yeah.
I mean, you for anybody coming up, anybody getting a seat. Hey, this kind of ties into what we just talked about within ARCS and ignition drivers coming up into a squared and stuff like that, right? Same concept. You want to see somebody come up and do well, and I have nothing but hope and honor for anybody doing that except Aiden. Pause. There we go.
Yeah.
No, but
I think Aiden just turned the stream off.
He probably did. No, I mean, you want to see anybody, coming up do something and prove their point, regardless of the team they're on, because it doesn't mean the team that they're on now coming up is the team that they're going to be on when they get to the Cup level. Or we can talk about IndyCar because that starts this weekend too. But as far as it goes with the chase thing, though, and I do want to go back to your question with Tommy.
Yeah.
You just started your NASCAR season. You went snowboarding. Even if you know and you're a great snowboarder, why would you go do that? Knowing that the risk versus reward, even for fun, why would you do it? And now he's out. And how many weeks is he going to miss?
Yeah, we don't know.
So that's my mindset with that. Why would you do that? Why would any sports? Matt, you play baseball. Would you go in season do something that could potentially hurt your arm and dampen your season?
No, not.
Your answer is probably no.
Yeah, not when that much money is possibly on the line.
And that's the thing. So why do it?
It's good questions. I know they're going to be asked this weekend because Chase is probably going to be in Vegas watching along if the injury is not too severe. But we were notified that he had to have surgery or is going to have surgery. So questions definitely will be asked. The answers we'll find out. We'll probably have to rehash this back on the next Inside ARCS episode. I'm going to bring this to both of you guys. We've got a full slate of racing. Obviously, Truck Series race was tonight. You got Xfinity tomorrow. But then there is a huge slate of real-world racing going on Sunday. You have F1 with their season opener early Sunday. Then you have the IndyCar opener comes up then. And then out at Vegas, you have the Cup race. I'm going to go green, yellow, red. And I want you to assign a flag to each of those series. Alex, I'll start with you.
All right, well, green is IndyCar. You already knew that. We're going full force IndyCar. And as far as winner goes, you didn't ask this, but winner, I'm going to go Scotty. Let's go Scotty. 2 years in a row. Yellow. We'll go Cup. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you Josh Berry as that winner. Chase, good luck.
Yeah.
And obviously, red is F1 because I am not into F1 whatsoever, and they can take their money and shove it.
Yeah, okay. Tommy, over to you. You got the same type list for green, yellow, red on the 3 series on Sunday?
Man, he's killing me. Green flag all the way for F1, man. Based what I've seen off of preseason testing and the first couple practice sessions. I mean, you still don't know if guys are holding back or not. You don't know the true performance of everybody's car yet, and seeing Alonso at the top of the board right next to Max Verstappen just warms my heart. So
That'll go away real quick on Sunday, bud.
yeah, you wish. I think you already know my next answer. I think yellow flag will be IndyCar. St. Petersburg is, I think that's where they're at. Isn't
Yep.
the my favorite track to watch? I mean, but yeah, red flag Vegas. I mean, I can't remember that many great Vegas races over the years.
I remember an IndyCar race that was not that great.
Well,
But yeah,
Alex,
I not too many memorable Vegas
yeah,
races, so
well,
that's how I'm gonna put it as
it
red
sounds
flag.
like this week is dominated by the open wheel category as F1 and IndyCar kick off this weekend. Cup in their third weekend at Las Vegas. Kyle Busch in his homeland looking to continue his winning ways out of Auto Club. So we're going to see what that happens. We're going to bring it back into the sim world. And, we talked about some of the, issues and things like that have popped up in races and things like that. And Tommy, I'll come to you first. When it comes to I'll give you 2 scenarios or 2 different options here, and you can green, yellow, red each one if you want. But on when you're looking at the restart zone that iRacing has implemented, do you want to have that restart zone turned on or turned off when it comes to our league racing events, knowing like the stipulations that have now been put into how to conduct yourself inside that restart zone? So green, yellow, red on the iRacing restart zone, on or off?
I'm gonna say red flag still because we saw, even though the Clash is a very strange racetrack, I think it still shows some of the issues because the inside car is obviously moving faster because it's a shorter way around the racetrack. So second has to go faster to catch up, but you're limited to a certain amount of speed to the restart zone. So it kind of screws over second place, and second place can't get the same jump that first place gets. So I feel like a um, like uh, eye in the sky restart zone would be okay. Just like make sure the drivers are actually going in the restart zone.
Right.
But I feel like the iRacing one at the moment is still a little iffy. It needs some work.
Yep. And Alex, I'll pass this over to you. I don't know if you've had issues with the restart zone that they implemented, or if you haven't, but your thoughts on that iRacing restart zone versus just using the eye in the sky type eyeball, green, yellow, red on that subject.
Indifferent because I've been too far back on any restarts to even know what the hell you're talking about.
I
But,
got you.
um, but no, I mean, to touch on the subject though, regardless, everyone wants as much realism as we can get, right?
Right.
That's kind of our overall goal and what we hope that iRacing brings in, and they're trying to do their best and everything. But Choose Cone doesn't exist yet in iRacing, which would make A squared a lot easier.
Yep.
Um, so it almost like even with that, it almost feels like Forza days. Well, I did Forza before I did this for the Heat guys. Same concept, where you force yourself to make the rules that existed in real life, but there's no way to automatically just put those rules into effect.
Yeah, to police it means to
So,
have
so now,
another. Yeah.
exactly. So now you're looking at the fact that you need somebody, and if it's 1, 3, 5, doesn't matter. If one person is the eye in the sky at that point, any little thing that's an issue, anyone's going to go to that eye in the sky and,
Mm-hmm.
and complain about that person, and that's not right, because that's not how it works. They're doing their best to do what they're supposed to do, and I understand iRacing screws that up because we're doing something we shouldn't be doing. So, I mean, it kind of is what it is at this point. I'm hopeful that iRacing is going to change some things, not only on the Cup side with Choose Cone, that would be great. With IndyCar with push pass. Which, okay, fine. They're getting IndyCar's getting their game, and they lost iRacing, but they'll come back.
Yeah. So
once they realize
when
that got screwed up.
We're talking about that restart zone. Would an update to that restart zone, or at least restarts in its entirety, take the restart zone out of it, but restarts in their entirety, would it be better if iRacing found a way to update to where, yes, you can pass on the right, but no, you cannot increase a position. You cannot beat the car in front of you on the right-hand side before the start-finish line, or implementing maybe just a lane following, which would probably throw some issues in, because if you try to avoid a wreck, you're going to leave your lane. So maybe that pass to the right, but you cannot be ahead of that driver before the restart or before the start finish line. Do you think that kind of update would help these type scenarios, take it out of a human hand and put it into an algorithm's hand? Alex, that was to you.
I mean, yeah. If you want to think about it, so I'm going to go with iRacing officials though, still here, right? Because league races, I think for the most part, league races we kind of have the general sense of what we're doing, right?
Yep.
But iRacing officials, which people do get their bad habits or good habits from, if you're not like I said earlier in the podcast here, if you're not hugging that wall, I can sit there and shoot past you.
Yep.
Okay. And then we drop to IndyCar style. On ovals, obviously there's no push to pass. So actually, I just corrected myself before I said anything. So I'm going to say on road courses, there's no caution in iRacing officials for IndyCar. But the concept is still there. You could push the pass and get around people if you wanted to. So it's a game at the end of the day, and I just upset so many people.
Yeah.
But it's a game, and you're going to find the best way to play the game. And even for all the people that are going to want to get butthurt about iRacing being a game, it's a game. It's no different than you playing NHL or MLB or it doesn't matter. It's a game. You're going to find the ways that you can do your best, even if it's cheating, and succeed. Everyone's going to do that. And everyone does that in the real racing life as well. In real MLB. Matt, you know this. With the shift change for fielding, they've already looked and found how can we adjust to this. Right. And I forgot what team it was. It doesn't matter. They moved an outfielder into the infield to adjust for that shift change. You're going to always find something you can do.
Yeah.
That's how people's minds work. You're going to always find that way. And someone's always going to be upset about it. So
this is true. I think
you can create a rule.
Yeah. I think
it's going to be a thing.
When it comes down to the end all, and I think this is a conversation that is happening at the higher ups at ARCS, and we take it back to the issue with ignition and those restarts tonight. When we get down to it, the whole rules are meant to be broken, and records are meant to be broken type stuff. Yes, and we're all pushing to find the best way to play our hand and race our cars or in whatever situation. And then the admin's jobs and the owner's jobs are to find what is the most fair and equal and balanced way to go about um, each race or each division or each series. And I think the admins have a really good control over or an idea of how they want to proceed forward. And the great thing about ARCS and everything this family does is that it is a collective. It's not one person making a entire decision on that is so much of a veer from the path we're on. So having those conversations and being a part of those conversations is great insight into the fact that this family is always working to better its product, whether it's on the racetrack or off the racetrack. And I applaud both Tommy and Alex. You guys have been around for a long time in ARCS, even before iRacing days, and I applaud Ryan Pinnell and the host of his admins that handle each of these issues as they come forward to make sure the balance of power and the fairness of the game in places we can't control are very well received throughout the racing experience. Yes, people will be upset at some points, and yes, most of the group will agree at most points in that, okay, I can't exploit this pathway of the rule, so now got to find a new way to get around. And for a lot of the drivers, it's about the word that we've brought up a lot of times here is consistency and just finding, okay, once we get past the restart and handle that, because that's usually where most problems occur, where does my consistency lie and things like that. And so as we finish up here on this Inside ARCS episode, if you have not had the chance and you want to be a part of ARCS, the family, on track or off track, please go to racearcs.com and we will get you logged in and signed up with us to run either in Ignition, SNS, or on our Monday and Tuesday night Extreme Series, as those are our open series currently, and you can work your pathway to get an invite into TNT or drafted and signed by one of the A Squared owners. We're accepting all applications, and tryouts are always going on when those applications come in, so please apply there, racearcs.com, fill out your application, send it in. Ryan Pinnell and the admins will get you locked and loaded. Alex, Tommy, it's been an absolute great episode. We continue on here in the 2023 season. Any last words towards the ARCS family and those wanting to become family members, Tommy?
Like Ken said, you can sign up at the website. We'd love to have you. We always love have a new competition here, so go ahead and sign up.
And Alex, welcome into the ARCS podcast studio for the first time. How was your first time, and any message for the family members out there?
I'm too drunk to taste this chicken.
Yeah, there you go.
No, really. No, I had fun, and maybe the next time we'll do a week when I'm at home and I'm actually racing and watching and have a little more insight on it. But no, Matt, I appreciate everything you do with ARCS and with the podcast, and Tommy. We won the Daytona 24, buddy. That's what we got.
There you go.
Yep.
We are well into the 2023 season. We have entered March now, and it is an absolute barn burner of the month. There's things going on every week, and coming up on the next episode, you're going to see the review of Bristol and Vegas for SNS and A Squared, as well as some more preview going into our next big iRacing team event, which is the 12 Hours of Sebring. Just a few weeks away. Teams are getting together, so if you're interested in the endurance side, get on racearcs.com, throw that application in. Tommy Reynolds will help you out. He is our head over there. So without further ado, thank you everyone that has come and listened to us. Please like, share, subscribe. Get your family members involved. Come join us on the track. Until next time on Inside ARCS, we'll see you later.